Alright, how's it going out there? Hope everybody's having a good day, good weekend. I'm going to get right into it and pretty much know what this video is about, seeing as what it's titled. So, I'm just going to play this video and we'll get right into it from there.
Beautiful on the news, and here's the winner. There's a huge, hidden, heavenly body right here in our solar system. Evidence is mounting that either a brown dwarf star or a gas giant planet is lurking at the outermost reaches of our solar system, far beyond the planet Pluto. According to the British newspaper The Independent, the object is 4 times the size of Jupiter. Experts say the presence of such a massive object could explain why a barrage of comets has been coming from that direction.
There you go right there. That last point, what he said about the reason why large comets are coming our way. Well, the comets is not what I'm really worried about. It's the space rocks, the asteroids that are coming out, I mean, for the past 5 years, we've been having a serious uptick in, seeing these rocks falling out of the sky. I mean, it's just crazy. Just last week, there was one over in New Zealand. Just the other day, there was one that people saw on the East Coast. I mean, it's just like constant. It's like almost every day, you're seeing these things. Not like you see a shooting star where you see a nice little zip across the star, or across the sky, sorry. I mean, it's these rocks that are excuse me, that are illuminating the sky like if the sun was out. And it's happening more and more and more, every day. But the most interesting thing I saw in this video, that's why I stopped it here, was because, once it's over, you see this big X in the background. And we already know what Nibiru is also known as, Planet X, or the Destroyer, Wormwood, so on and so forth. And there's a ton of videos about this stuff. So I started doing my own research, and I came upon some pretty cool stuff. I mean, this is, something I do, not just biblically, but also for science too, because, either way, no matter how you look at it, science has a lot to do with explaining how things work and so on and so forth. They'll only go so far. So I'm going to show you this article here, and the article, pretty interesting, excuse me. It's kind of going through, the arguments whether this thing exists or not, so on and so forth, But the thing is they obviously know that there's something out there. I mean, they've been trying to hide it for a long time, and, the thing that's interesting is here it says some scientists think a brown dwarf or gas giant bigger than Jupiter could be at the outer reaches of our solar system. Could be or is. You know what I'm saying? Why would you even put this out there? I mean, if there are objects out there, it's going to be out there. If it's not, it's not. So, I mean, just right there, they're kind of throwing it in your face and letting you know, hey, something's coming, he, laughing at you in front of your face, because most of us are just mindless zombies walking around, don't know what the heck is going on. We're too busy trying to figure out what's going on with the, newest celebrity or, whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But, I'm going to put this link in the description. You can check out this article for yourself. But, right there, it's showing there's something's happening. And I mean, of course, a lot of people related it to 2012. And I believe, what was that? It was December. But this article was published the 15th of 2011 in February. And this was right before the whole 2012 thing. And of course, because nothing happened, everybody was like, oh yeah, nothing happened. Me, I wasn't one that believed that something was going to happen. I believe more of it as a warning, letting us know that we're entering the age. We're entering the 5th age. We're leaving the 4th. We're going into the 5th. And if you do your research on, that kind of thing, you'll figure it out for yourself. I mean, I want to, tell people to go out there and do your own investigation on things. People make nasty comments. I made a video on that. People not really watching videos all the way through. and not knowing why a person is saying what they're saying. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But anyways, I just want to show you these pictures. And, you know, this picture here, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but this one I like the most because it kind of shows you the trajectory, you know, pretty much its orbit, how it comes in. Most likely it probably sits somewhere in here, and it would sit in between the Earth and the Sun, and I'll go into detail on that, which I found this out, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And also the relation to the magnetic field of Nibiru, same thing. It's just weird, dude. It's so weird. And, you know, I try to, you know, relate things to the Bible and scientifically and not try to separate those things because they're both in the same. Of course, in the Bible, it doesn't say anything about science. He just says it was, there is, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, he wants us to use our minds in order to find the truth. And the only way we're going to find the truth is if we look for it. And most people ain't looking for it. Excuse me. I had to clear my throat. But in this, you see the asteroid belt, you know, comes in, and, you know, it's pushing and pulling, man. It's like the yin and the yang. You know, it's coming by, you know, all kinds of different things, pushing and pulling things, making things go in different directions. And that would explain why we have all these falling rocks coming out of nowhere. But anyways, go back to this picture. And the reason why I'm showing this is because it's the plate tectonics. And if you've ever seen, or I'm sorry, if you ever heard of the scientific term crust displacement, I mean, honestly, I have to, like I said, I did my research, and with this planet body, whatever you want to call it, coming in, it's going to tug and pull on our planet, which could displace our crust. I mean, just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm not a scientist, but I just found it weird, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I kept finding different, you know, different situations, and I mean, it's just mind-blowing. But anyways, that's what I kind of believe, because in the Bible and what it says, and we'll get into that also, too. So I want to show you this. We'll get out of here. And this other site I like going to is called the Solar Scope. So what I did was, it pretty much shows you, you know, time and dates where the planets will sit in their orbit, so on and so forth. And this is pretty much where Earth is going to be sitting on the 28th of September. And why I'm using the 28th is because on the 28th, we have two different things happening that same day. We have a total lunar eclipse, and then we also have, excuse me, we also have a blood moon. And there's also a lot of other things going on the month of September, which has to do with the Jewish holiday. And those fall on the 13th, 14th, 23rd, and 28th. Now, on the 13th, we also have a partial solar eclipse. So there's a lot of stuff going on just in this 1 month alone. And this is this will be the fourth blood moon, pretty much in that cycle. This only happens like every 500 years or something like that. But all these things come in, and I'm not saying that the world's going to end or anything like that, but this is the time where, it was right now, we're in the last days, but this is the time where everything kind of starts to go into effect. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because it shows exactly where, you know, pretty much everything's going to be sitting. And Planet X should be right about in here somewhere. And the reason why I say this is because it relates to the Bible. And if you look at it in a scientific view as far as the end days and Revelations, how it explains it, and we'll go to that. This would be Revelation 6, verses 12 through 15. Now, this is the part that it just shook me when I read this. And it says, "And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal." This is about the sixth seal being broken. "And lo, there was a great earthquake. And the sun became black as sackcloth of hair. And the moon became as blood." Right there. Right there. Now, the reason why I'm like getting so excited about this is the fact that the sun became black. The moon became as blood. Now, the only way that can happen is if something's in the way. Now, Planet X is huge compared to our sun. So it's going to be sitting right in front of our view of the sun, and it's going to make the sun look like it went black. And then it's going to cast its shadow from the sun hitting it. It's going to cast that shadow onto the moon, making the moon look like blood. I believe this is probably going to be the reddest we've ever seen the moon. I mean, I've been watching a lot of eclipses, and yes, you know, it turns red, but I think this thing is going to be really red because the hue and the tint of Planet X is red. So you have the light from the sun and the redness hue of Planet X bouncing, you know, pretty much shadowing the Earth onto the moon. There you go. I just found that weird. Now, the other thing that I found was in verses 14, or actually 13 through 14. And what it says the stars of the heaven fell onto earth as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Remember what I was talking about? Crust displacement. The only way every mountain and island could be moved out of their places is by that event happening. Wow, are you kidding me? It's right there. Right there. And of course, scientifically, it doesn't explain anything. But if you're using science and the Bible at the same time, this is the conclusion I came to. Because when Planet X comes in, it's going to be pulling and tugging on the Earth, which would displace the crust. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm a scientist. I'm not saying I'm a know-it-all. But when I read this in Revelation 6, I was like, are you kidding me? It says it right there. Right there. And if you even look even further, where it talks about the millstone being cast into the sea, which is another huge body coming in. And of course, they ain't going to see it coming until it's too late. And most likely it's going to fall into the Atlantic Ocean. And actually, there's a movie about that. It's called Deep Impact. And that movie, that's where the rock was going to fall, but the smaller one, because they tried to destroy it and blew it up and made it into two pieces. And they actually ended up blowing up the biggest part, but the littlest part of that comet fell into the sea, which was the Atlantic Ocean. And they show us these things all the time. It's just amazing. And people just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. These are the last days. Period. Period. But, like I said, we'll see what happens coming in, coming up here in September. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not saying that the world's going to end. I'm not saying, I don't know. But I'm just trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together. And I've understood it so far, and it starts to make sense to me. It really starts to make sense. I'm no scholar or, freaking a bunch of degrees and everything else. I'm just a regular person figuring out the truth. That's it. You can think whatever you want to think, believe whatever you want to believe. But in order for me to find the truth, I had to do the research. And I challenge anyone out there to do the same, because that's what it's about. It's about doing your research, knowledge is power, so on and so forth. And like I said, we're so hooked up into everything that's going on in the media and the news and the movies and the stars and the celebrities. We totally miss everything else. And that's what they're there for. That's exactly what they're there for, to keep us asleep, to keep us in some dream world. And that's another, situation I have to get on too. But this one I had to hit, because if this Planet X doesn't exist, and it, like I said, when it does come into view, you're going to see it. You ain't going to miss it. Right now, they've been trying to hide it and put crap in the sky, saying it's, pretty much for scientific research. And, who knows what the heck they've been spraying up there. But, that's another thing, the chemtrail thing. That could be used for a number of different things. Not only, blocking the sky so you can't see nothing, which it's only usually been seen in the southern hemisphere. And there have been other videos too where people, said they saw two suns or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you got to find that interesting. When I saw that and I looked in Revelation 6, I was just like, wow. And I started putting it together, and I said, man, this is amazing, because obviously that is the only way these things can happen. Because it's all depending on what's in our solar system. That's pretty much it. I mean, scientists have already seen that there's been changes in the outer planets they can't explain. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just doing my research, and then I came upon it, and I was like, wow, everything you put together, it starts to make sense. It's not like you're diving for something, you're looking for something. You have to do the research in order to come to a conclusion, and that's my conclusion right there. Honestly, it doesn't get any better than that. If you don't have this this website, it's called the Solar System Scope. Go to it and check it out, play with it. It's pretty cool. It's got, you know, all kind of different little gadgets you can play with, and I mean, yeah, I really like it a lot. So I mess with it a lot just to see, you know, where everything's going to be set up, where the, you know, it shows the comets, everything. I mean, it's just amazing. But you know, tell me what you guys think about that. If you guys got any views or, you know, anything, just let me know. But you gotta say those findings are that's just crazy. That's crazy. But like I said, most people who are religious, so on and so forth, they believe in this whole magical moment, you know, and, you know, they say it's God's wonders. God's wonders and how he put everything in its place are two different things. They're not the same. You know, it's not like the same when in Egypt the pillar of fire from the sky, or, you know, even parting the Red Sea. Who knows? I mean, like I said, I don't actually know. But when I start to put the pieces together, I start to find some very interesting things. So, you know, keep Jesus in your heart. Ask for his forgiveness. If you want to, here's a little prayer I got from another person's website. You know, if you want to say that prayer and you know, always keep Jesus in your heart, you know, I think you'll be all right. Accept him as your Lord and Savior, because ain't nobody else gonna save you. I can tell you that right now. Nobody else is going to save you, and nobody cares. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be trying on your life, because no one wants Jesus. Jesus is put on the back burner every day. So that should prove to you more than anything that obviously Jesus means something, because they ain't doing it to nobody else's Messiah. They ain't doing it to Muhammad. They ain't doing it to Buddha. They ain't doing it to none of them fools. If you notice, as soon as you say Jesus, oh man, all hell breaks loose. Because demons and Satan don't like his name. They cringe in his name. When they hear his name, they're like, oh my God. So, you know, just understand that it's not about right and wrong. It's about what you do right and what you do wrong. And I appreciate everybody's support, and, you know, hopefully my channel goes further, and I have other issues I want to, you know, speak on, other, you know, serious situations. And I'll keep making videos, and I hope that, you know, everyone enjoys them and watches them, and it's insightful for you. So that's it. I'm out. Have a good one. God bless. And keep Jesus in your heart. And praise his name. At all costs, praise Jesus. Period. Thank you.